Hello, this is Paul Quinn from the Chichester Centre for Fairy Tale, Fantasy and Speculative Fictions, and happy Tell a Fairy Tale Day to all of you who celebrate. I'm here with Meg, one of our students, who's an expert on many things fantasy related, and we're going to talk now about one of Meg's favourite fairy tales. And it might not be what you're expecting, so Meg, tell us about this fairy tale you're going to talk about.
My favourite fairy tale is from Batman, and it's actually one of his Robins. So the third Robin from the current Batman run is called Tim Drake, and he fits into basically every fairy tale stereotype and trope that you can think of. And I think it's a really interesting reintroduction of fairy tales into like the current like media, especially because I mean he's not very popular within the fandom, but he is a very well recognised Robin. He has had several runs, and he's just a very interesting character to talk about.
So why is he fairy tale like then, Meg? Let's talk us through these various tropes that he fulfills.
We've got the absent mother. So both his parents are absent, but his mum is killed off. His dad is like alive, but then he's killed off, but like the mum is very absent. He has the supernatural helper, so he gets aid by Ra's al Ghul, and it's like around the Lazarus pits, and it's a very supernatural run, this comic run. You also have love at first sight, so he has love with Stephanie Brown, who is another superhero, and he also has love with a man whose name I forgot, which is quite embarrassing.
That's fine.
But yeah, and then he also has the Home is Where the Heart Is. That's sort of at the end of it where they return home, and they're like, this is where I'm meant to be with his best friend, Connor Kent, who's Superboy. And like no matter how far he goes, especially in DC Rebirth, the current comic run, he very much frequently returns to these tropes that you see in fairy tales. It's very interesting.
So with that idea of returning home with another male figure, are we looking at a homoeroticism around? That's kind of Hansel and Gretel.
Yes. So.
Or is it more brotherly, fraternal rather than erotic?
Well, I've remembered the name. His boyfriend's name's Bernard. He is canonically bisexual. Right. Like that's not me adding that. That's he's canonically bi. I'm gonna say it's queer. Like it's especially like you see how people interact with it. Obviously, Batman has a decently toxic fan base, I'd say. So people didn't love it when he came out, and people loved it even less when it was kind of implied that he was into Connor Kent. But I will say, like he basically condies. He goes insane, and he tries like over 100 times to clone him, which is a normal thing you do for your best friend.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the most platonic thing any man can do. Show his love. Important to note, didn't do that for his other best friends that died. Just Connor started wearing a Superman t-shirt. One point he changes his Robin costume to be the colours of the Superboy clothing. You know, just as in memorial to his best friend.
So he is moving beyond just his dead friend into some type of obsessionist tendencies there as well.
But it seems mutual.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm just thinking in terms of fairy tales and some of the more troubling aspects that tend to get filtered out, the kind of necrophilia and that type of thing you find around Snow White. But really what we're looking at is those kind of propping ideas, those type of character types that prop overlays into the fairy tale, lay them onto Batman or into aspects of Batman. This idea that the absent mother, because the dead mother is crucial in so many fairy tales. We get a stepmother figure in Batman, or do we circumnavigate that?
So when Janet Drake dies, his dad's in a coma, and then quite quickly moves on to a much younger woman when he wakes up. And Dana is not. She doesn't seem to be particularly cruel. It's just she's like 20 and her kid's like 16. Yeah. So it's like it's more who are you to tell me to do what to do. So we're dodging that. But Ra's al Ghul is kind of a step parent type figure. Okay. I disagree.
That's good. That's healthy for debate.
I think Ra's, especially in with Tim Drake, you know, the whole young detective thing, I think he is where like sexually into Tim Drake. I think
Right.
there's a lot of implied parts, especially in the Red Robin run, where it's not he wants to take Tim under his wing, he wants to
Take Tim.
take Tim. Yeah, like he gets Talia al Ghul's sister to try and rape Tim at one point. Like it's
Again, not unusual in early fairy tales before they become for children.
yes.
And of course, we've got here now the graphic novel, not for children.
Yes.
The convoluted idea they're just comic strips, actually not an art form in and of themselves. And so we see these type of intersections with an older art form that both is and isn't for children. Fascinating.
Yeah.
This is going to turn into a semi-regular thing, we think, where we're looking
Hopefully.
for fairy tales in unusual places. So if you enjoyed this, or even if you didn't enjoy it, come back and have a look at what you may not enjoy next time. I'm not sure where we're going with this, but it'll be a nice surprise for all of us.
Including me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for that, Meg. And
Thanks for having me.
we will see you soon for fairy tales in unexpected places.